Hello, and welcome to another episode of Adamo Baseball, where I'm your host, Adamo. And in this episode, yes, I'm talking about the New York Yankees. And frankly, it kills me to say this, but yes, the Yankees are going to win the American League East this year. I'll be the first to admit I don't want this to happen, but I'll also be the first to admit that I don't see how they don't. I mean, the Red Sox have got a lot of offensive firepower this year, but I think they're a year or two away. I think the Blue Jays have got the offense that can put a lot of home runs on the board, but I think they strike out too much as a team. And I think there are too many holes in their rotation. And frankly, I don't see a reason why the Yankees don't have two, if not three different guys that can make MVP. At very least talk this year, if not have one of their players win it. And because I'm not looking forward to this episode, I might as well just go ahead and get through it. So, as per usual, I start with the lineup. Leading off, DJ LeMahieu, second base. He's been making a lot of MVP noise for quite a while now, as a Yankee, but also as a Cardinal, and whoever was he was playing for before that. Don't be shocked if he makes MVP rounds again, and he actually is a pretty good ball player. If he played for someone else, I wouldn't be so sad to see him actually be in the conversation. Batting second in the lineup, for some reason, Aaron Boone, their manager, likes to bat him second in the lineup. Aaron Judge, I think he plays left. He's been an outfielder his whole career. And, well, he strikes out a lot. But he puts up enough home runs per year with enough RBIs per season that there's no reason to think that he won't continue just going on tears. He didn't have a sophomore slump. He had one of the best rookie years ever, and frankly, a dude that should be playing offensive line in the NFL or defensive end, playing baseball about as well as you would think that a guy like that would play baseball. You might as well just throw him in the MVP conversation as well. And don't be shocked if he hits 45-plus home runs this year. Number 3, Luke Voight, first base. I mostly know who Luke Voight is because I'm a Red Sox fan, and he's a guy that you never want to hear his name called because he always has success against the Red Sox. Batting cleanup, Giancarlo Stanton, designated hitter, or at least they have him listed as DH. He's played outfield before, so don't be shocked if he plays outfield again, either due to injuries or because, they just need to have his bat in the lineup. I think it was 2014 when the Miami Marlins gave him that 11-year, I want to say $300+ million contract. And he has played up to that contract when he's on the field. He does get hurt a lot, which may be why they're moving him to designated hitter. Because during his time in pinstripes, he has had a lot of injuries. So if he stays healthy like he should, then yes, he is an MVP candidate every year. It's just, will he stay healthy? You be the judge. Number 5, Gleber Torres, shortstop. He has played second base, but they've got him at short because of LeMahieu. So Gleber didn't play all that well last year, But again, I've mentioned this in plenty of other episodes. That's mostly because, like, 2020 was 2020. And there's really no reason to debate that. He actually is a really good ball player. And there's no point in dancing around that. And he's batting fifth in the lineup for a reason. So, yeah. Batting sixth, Clint Frazier. I think he's their center fielder. He could play one of the corners. I don't know. I've heard the name plenty of times, but he's the one guy in the lineup for the Yankees that I'm less apt to hear about. So he probably plays center and probably for defensive purposes. If I recall correctly, he's the guy that took over for Jacoby Ellsbury. Batting seventh, Aaron Hicks. He's one of the few guys batting seventh that it would make sense if he ends up getting pushed up the lineup a bit, because he won't put up the best batting average, but he will put runs across the plate. Batting eighth, Giovanni Ursula. I think that's how you say it, Ursula. He had a really good rookie year. I want to say that was 2019. He was one of the hidden gems the Yankees had whenever they had basically the all-injured roster. Ursula was, for lack of a better way of saying it, just Gio, because that's what they called him at the time. He actually was one of the guys that really stepped up and proved that WAR is kind of a BS stat, because he was a replacement and he was better than a lot of the players that he was replacing. And he really has stepped up. I'll give him credit. I don't know why he's listed as eighth. The only conclusion I can come up with is the fact that they really do have a very stacked roster. Batting ninth, Gary Sanchez. Okay, I remember about a year ago I was thinking that he could be one of the guys that throws his hat in the ring for MVP. I'm retracting that. Because while, yes, he does hit a lot of home runs for a catcher, that's with the asterisk for a catcher. He's not actually all that great. His batting average is not going to be great. And when I was listening to the postseason last year, they made it very clear that he was one of the worst catching catchers in the league. I think he led the league in passed balls. And if I recall correctly, he misses a lot of throws to second, which is not what you want from a catcher. So don't be surprised if the Yankees try and go after a different catcher or use him as trade bait at the deadline, or just try and trade him in general. So, yeah, don't be surprised by that. So, yeah, as a whole, the Yankees lineup actually is very stacked. I mean, I made it no secret, I don't like the Yankees, but I do have respect for the players themselves. And they do have a very stacked lineup all the way across the board. And because of that, yeah, I'm picking them to win the AL East, and they'll probably have 98 plus wins. Yeah, they actually probably will eclipse 100 now that I think about it. But not by much. So probably between 98 and 102 wins this season. The saying for them is World Series or bust. For them, again, it's World Series or bust. They haven't won it since 2009. They haven't played in it since 2009. They got the lineup to do it. Their rotation, this is where things get interesting. So James Paxton, he's gone. And J. Happ, I guess he's gone as well. They have the highest paid pitcher in baseball. Probably one of the best, or not probably, one of the best pitchers in baseball in Garrett Cole. He is an ace. He is the top of the rotation for a reason, and he'll probably get you 20-some wins. So don't be surprised by that. So they had the second guy listed 6th. I'm moving him to 2nd in the rotation for obvious reasons. Luis Severino. When he plays like an ace, he is an ace. But his seasons are usually a tale of two halves. He'll start hot out the gate, April through July, like to the All-Star break. He'll get you 10 or 11 wins during that time frame and only lose 2 games. After the All-Star break, he's not great. So don't be surprised if they drop him down in the lineup late in the season in the rotation because he doesn't play great down the stretch. The guy they have listed 2nd is Jamison Taillon. Taillon. I don't know how to say that. It seems like an easy name, like Taillon. I don't know. I'm not saying that to be rude. I legitimately don't know how to say his name. And what's more, I've never heard of this guy. I have no idea if the Yankees are expecting him to be the next great pitcher or if RotoChamp, which is my source on this, just put him on there. Next rotation pitcher makes perfect sense. Corey Kluber. They did sign him this past offseason. Cleveland was really sad to see him go for obvious reasons. Whenever he went to Texas, Cleveland probably didn't mind as much because it's Texas. And they had a chance to make the playoffs, I think, for a little bit, but then they kind of tailed off. And I'll get into the Rangers whenever I get there. But then he got signed by the Yankees, and you could just hear Cleveland fans everywhere's hearts just breaking. I don't know that he's going to play back at his Cy Young form, but I do think that he's going to be playing pretty well. They may move him up to 2nd in the rotation, but he may stay at 3rd because Severino may play that well, and Garrett Cole is, well, Garrett Cole, barring injury. Next one on the rotation, Jordan Montgomery. Last season, like right before the actual season started, I read an article saying that the Yankees had a hidden gem in Jordan Montgomery, but then I didn't see anything that actually corroborated that, so I doubt that that's going to hold up. Last guy in the rotation, Domingo Germain. He's had one good year, but I don't necessarily think that he's going to do that again. I may have had a bit of a negative spin on this rotation, but as far as rotations go, it's not bad to any extent of the imagination. They've got one of the best pitchers, one of the top 3 pitchers in Major League Baseball. They got a guy that can play like an ace. They've got another guy who's won a Cy Young Award. Typically, 3 aces will take you deep into the postseason. That's been true a lot. Just look at the 2019 Nationals. 3 aces took them to a World Series victory. So don't be surprised if the Yankees' rotation is just good enough. Their bullpen consists of Zach Britton and Chad Green. Chad Green's actually usually used as an opener. He can be a long reliever, so they actually do kind of have a hidden gem in him. And when they have rotation issues, he can take over the starting role. Zach Britton, he's kind of hit and miss. Some years he's good, some years he's not. So take that with a grain of salt. And their closer, Aroldis Chapman, world-famous Cuban defector, throws a 105.9 mile an hour fastball, and he's learned how to throw a curve. So, yeah, they've got their Mariano Rivera replacement. Yeah, I'm not going to dance around it. I've mentioned that I expect them to win the American League East. I haven't decided who I think is going to win either the West or the Central. Well, I'll just say it. I think the White Sox are going to win the Central. I expect the Yankees go to the American League Championship Series this season. I know you can hear my heart breaking saying that. I don't know that they go to the World Series this year, but at least preseason, they've got probably the strongest team in the American League. I can't think of a reason why not to peg them as the AL East champions. And yeah, I expect them to advance at least one round, possibly to the World Series. I don't think they win it because I think the NL's a little too strong this year. So that's just my opinion. You can let me know your opinion. I'm probably going to have Yankees fans looking at this and just flipping the bird, but I'm okay with that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. You can do so on the comments. I think that for my podcast, you can let me know just on my podcast. I have a blog, eladamo89.wixsite.com/AdamoBaseball. It's a mouthful, but you can let me know there. I'm still having trouble with my Twitter. I need to get that updated. By the time I get this episode out, that should be resolved. Just Adamo Baseball. And if you like what I had to say and you'd like to support me, you can do so on Patreon. Also Adamo Baseball. Only on my Patreon, there's no hyphen. So, with that being said, thank you for listening or watching. Cheers until next time.